Pokemon Sun and Moon have been out for about a month now, and I really enjoyed my first playthrough of these games. I was so impressed with the graphical quality of the games, as well as the amazing story and music. But another thing that I really enjoyed about Sun and Moon was all of the new Pokemon. It seemed like every single new Pokemon got at least a small piece of exposure, and I really appreciated that. Throughout my first playthrough, I used some of my favorite new Pokemon such as Sandygast, Mareanie, and Fomantis. But unfortunately, I found it a bit more difficult to evolve these Pokemon than some of my other team members. So today, we are going to be looking at the top 10 hardest Pokemon to evolve in Sun and Moon. And did you really think I could do this video without Mystic?
What is going on, everyone? I'm glad to be here to help Supra out with this video, but before we get into the list, let's clear up a few things. We want you all to keep in mind that some of the Pokemon on this list aren't technically difficult to evolve, but just rather tricky. This is the case because for this video, we're looking at the newly introduced Alola Pokemon, so some of the Pokemon on this list may not be hard to evolve. We feel that these are the top 10 hardest Pokemon to evolve in Sun and Moon. Also, in this video, Supra and I are not taking into account the experience share, so assume the only way of getting experience on any of these Pokemon is by either defeating another Pokemon with them, or by switch training.
Remember that this is a two-part video, and this video will only cover numbers 5 through 1 on our list. So make sure you guys head over to Mystic's channel to check out part 1 and see numbers 10 through 6 on the list. Also make sure you guys leave a like rating if you happen to enjoy the video, and to subscribe for more Pokemon content. And with all that out of the way, let's get right into number 5. In the number 5 spot, we have Salandit. You guys already know how much of a pain it can be to even get a Salandit that is capable of evolving. Only female Salandit can evolve into Salazzle. So once you get your hands on a female Salandit, which is only a 12.5% chance, then you're on your way to getting a Salazzle. And you may think it's all uphill from here. And it is, but not by much. Salandit evolves at level 33 into Salazzle, so it's a bit of a journey if you consider that you probably caught your Salandit around level 18. Also, let's take a look at Salandit's stats. Salandit has pretty good special attack and speed stats, but I'm talking about its defenses. Both weigh in at a base 40, which makes Salandit about as bulky as a piece of paper. So unless you're planning on fighting a bunch of grass-type Pokemon or want to spam some revives, your only reliable way of leveling Salandit up is by switch training it. This can make the process of evolving Salandit into Salazzle quite difficult, but once you finally get to level 33, Salazzle is definitely worth it.
Number 4. Mareanie. Where do I even begin? It's hard to obtain, and its stats suck. I know this is a hardest evolution list, but hear me out. Trying to get this Pokemon is a literal pain. First, you have to fish for Corsola, and the rate for encountering that is pretty low. Then once it is encountered, you have to get it to SOS for Mareanie, and that rate is not that bad. But the fact that you have to SOS for it makes it that much harder to get. On top of that, leveling it up to 38 is quite the chore. Look at those stats. Venoshock is available at level 25, and the lowest level you can get Mareanie is 10, and the highest being 23. If you want a higher leveled one, you have to be extremely lucky or have patience. Venoshock is literally the best it can get until level 37, where it gets Poison Jab, and it doesn't get any water moves until level 49, or if you teach it TMs. This one is quite tedious, and we wish you all the best of luck in finding it and having the proper patience.
In the number 3 spot, we have Sandygast. Sandygast is actually a Pokemon that I used on my team during my first playthrough of Pokemon Sun and Moon, so I speak from experience with this one. Sandygast evolves at level 42 into Palossand, and oh boy is this a journey. To start things off, Sandygast is weak to 5 different typings, in which 3 of them are very prominent typings during the main game, being Water, Grass, and Dark. So this makes it decently hard for Sandygast to gain EXP on its own. Another hindering factor are its stats. Other than its terrible speed, bad special defense, attack, and HP stats, it has a decently high defense and special attack stat. And its stats actually tie into its level up learn set because it only gets about 4 special moves before it evolves, in which one of these moves is learned a level before Sandygast evolves, so it's not like you could get much use out of it anyway. However, Sandygast does have some rather decent moves that it can learn, being Earthquake, Psychic, Shadow Ball, Energy Ball, Stone Edge, and Rock Slide, but most of these TMs you don't get until late game, and by then, Sandygast will already be close to evolving. This process was so annoying for me because I actually really like Palosand, so it was so difficult containing my excitement for so many levels about getting a Palosand.
Look at Wimpod. Its only 2 moves are Sand Attack and Struggle Bug, and it doesn't evolve until level 30. Meet Generation 7's Magikarp, except a little better. I mean, Struggle Bug is better than Tackle and Flail, and it can even learn TMs. However, its stats are completely awful. I have nothing much else to say about it. I know we said no experience share, but this Pokemon needs the experience share no matter what. Although, I will say, once this Pokemon evolves, it destroys everything. Golisopod is totally worth the wait. It can destroy competitively and story-wise. Patience is key though, and it will be a great asset to anyone's team in the long run of the game.
And finally, in the number 1 spot, we have Cosmog. Sun and Moon are the first games in the series that introduce pre-evolutions to legendary Pokemon. And I have to say, I think it's really interesting. Cosmog, or more well known as Nebby, can be obtained post-game at level 5, and evolving this thing is so difficult. At level 43, Cosmog evolves into Cosmoem, and at level 53, Cosmoem evolves into either Solgaleo or Lunala depending on which game you're playing. So first off, Cosmog's move pool is strictly Splash and Teleport. So, yeah, good luck switch training. Oh, and not only that, but Cosmog also has a slow leveling rate. Like, I actually think this Pokemon was made not to evolve. Oh, and once you finally reach level 43, it doesn't get any easier because Cosmoem only has access to 1 more move, being Cosmic Power. And you guessed it, Cosmoem also has a slow leveling rate. Now, I understand why it's so hard to evolve both of these Pokemon, but if you want yourself another legendary Pokemon, it's gonna take a lot of work.
And that's pretty much going to do it for the top 10 hardest Pokemon to evolve in Sun and Moon. Remember that this was a part 2 video, so if you missed part 1 on my channel, make sure you head over there to check it out.
And make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe for more Pokemon content. Peace out, guys.